and welcome to Philadelphia Phillies Phanaddicts. My name's Corey, and I'm your host. In today's episode, we're going to be covering the new acquisitions of our great Philadelphia Phillies. We're going to talk about who we lost in the offseason and all of the offseason acquisitions. We're going to talk about the current team as well as the depth chart as we see it for opening day. Additionally, we're going to talk about the season and how new things are going to be implemented due to COVID, as well as we're going to talk about your only way to see the Philadelphia Phillies play live this year. So stay tuned. If you're a true Phillies fan, this will be the podcast for you to follow this entire 2021 season. Welcome to Phillies Phanaddicts. Hello and welcome to Philadelphia Phillies Phanaddicts. My name's Corey, super fan for the Philadelphia Phillies. It's my pleasure to introduce myself. We have had this channel for several years, but we kind of stepped away from the limelight for a little while. But we have decided to return full force for the 2021 season with a full production staff, so on and so forth. So what we're going to be doing this year is covering our Philadelphia Phillies and only our Philadelphia Phillies in depth. We're going to be talking about acquisitions as they happen throughout the year, all of the latest and greatest news, some of the injury reports, as well as just all around general Philadelphia Phillies information, even including some memorabilia releases that we think may interest you. So first, let's talk about our Philadelphia Phillies and when the season actually begins. Our spring training season actually starts February 28th, and that's going to be versus Detroit at 105, and that's at Detroit's stadium down in Florida. Now, what's very important to understand is if you plan on attending these games, make sure you have your tickets far in advance because you're not going to be able to get anywhere near these stadiums unless you have pre-reserved tickets. As well as this is your only opportunity to see the Philadelphia Phillies as we see being allowed for this entire year. As it stands, obviously, the regular season games will not have regular attendance, so it's very important to understand if you do want to see your Philadelphia Phillies live this year, this may be your only opportunity to do so. So get yourself down to Florida, check out Clearwater. It's a beautiful city. Stop in Lenny's, get some food, but make sure you hop on down and check out your Phillies and show some support, even though COVID has still ravished our great America. So we have them playing the Detroit Tigers on the 28th, and then our first regular season game, which as we mentioned will not have attendance, will be April 1st at Citizens Bank Park versus the Atlanta Braves, and that's how they're going to be kicking off their 2021 season versus our primary opponent, if you will, from our NL East, the Atlanta Braves. So now, also for autograph fans and all those people, this year, autographs will not be held. So if you want to get an autograph, your only way to do so is to purchase it through an authorized, and we recommend a highly authorized form. Make sure the certificate of authenticity is, in fact, something that you can check online, make sure the numbers are accurate, do your research, do your math, because now, especially more than ever during COVID, when some people do have some disposable income, the fraud levels are at an all-time high since they've been since the 1990s. So make sure we're paying attention, and make sure you're keeping yourself and your purchases safe. So let's talk about our Phillies and where we stand this year. And let's first talk about the sad parts on the Phillies, and that is who we lost. So we lost Tommy Hunter to free agency. This is who we lost to free agency, obviously. We lost Tommy Hunter, Jay Bruce, Brandon Workman, Jake Arrieta, Jose Alvarez, David Robertson, David Phelps, and Kyle Garlick. Those are your primaries that we have lost. I think the biggest two that we're going to see on that list, the biggest detriment as a loss, but as we're going to talk in a few moments, they did kind of fill those shoes rather well. But we did lose Jake Arrieta, and we did, in fact, lose, of course, Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce is a fantastic bat for the outfield, and that is somebody that I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of someone in that age bracket available at this point. So those are our losses. Now let's talk about our gains. And we have some fantastic gains in Archie Bradley. And that's why I said, even though we lost Jake Arrieta, was an opener, so on and so forth, we did get a closer in Archie Bradley. And he is not a closer, I should say, a bullpen arm. And that is a right-handed bullpen arm coming out. And he is phenomenal. Archie Bradley is a great pitcher. He had a 2.9 ERA last year, which is really, really a great number. He had a 2-0 record with 18 strikeouts. So this guy has extreme potential. And that was obviously the year ravished by COVID, cut short, so on and so forth. So it's important to understand that this guy, when he is properly conditioned, is going to be an amazing arm out of our bullpen and a fantastic pickup for the Philadelphia Phillies. Additionally, we picked up C.J. Chatham. We got Jose Alvarado. Matt Moore coming back from the Asian leagues. We have Chase Anderson and Sam Coonrod. So those are our pickups, and that is who we gained this year. Now, our trades. This is some trades that we had. These are going to be including some minor league players. The first of which is going to be Cole Irvin. Cole Irvin, I thought, was a great arm. I'm not sure how this is going to pan out for the Phillies. We hope it doesn't end up going wrong. But Cole Irvin did end up going to Oakland for cash. We lost Kyle Holder, who we did just pick up this offseason, so it's kind of like a pick up and drop, but that was Kyle Holder. He came from the Yankee system, and he is now on the Reds for money. We have Victor Arano, who was claimed on waivers, and he was claimed by the Braves, as well as Kyle Garlick was claimed by the Braves. Kind of odd to see two players claimed on waivers by the same team, which means they have to keep that player on their major league roster for the remainder of the year, or they have to give him back. So it's very important to notice that, two went to the Braves. Then we have C.J. Chatham, who we just mentioned. He came from the Red Sox for a player to be determined later. And then Sam Coonrod, who came from the San Francisco Giants for Carson Ragsdale, another great draft pick we picked up just recently. I think he has some potential as well. So that's going to be an odd one to watch. But they did need Sam Coonrod sooner than they obviously would have needed Carson. So I think that probably was the only reason for that. Additionally, Jose Alvarado we got from the Rays in a multiplayer team, in which point we sent Garrett Cleavinger to the Reds. So those were the trades, and now we're going to talk about our free agent signings. We picked up Tony Watson. He's a pitcher, average pitcher, decent. I can see him coming in out of the bullpen later in the season. I don't know if he's going to actually be starting on the roster. As a matter of fact, I don't think he will be starting on the 40-man. I have a feeling Tony is going to be moved around quite a bit this year, if we end up keeping him at all, that is. Brad Miller, a face that we've had here in the Phillies in the past. Utility, decent player. Nothing fantastic, nothing to write home about, but somebody nice to have on the bench as an all-around utility player, and that is the shortstop of Brad Miller. We also picked up Travis Jankowski, a center fielder. I think he was on the Padres system going back. Decent player. Again, these are all, free agent signings. The ones that we're mentioning now are just average, nothing really substantial. But hey, we've seen free agent signings that were meant to be nothing turn into something. So let's hope for the best. We can also talk right-handed pitchers and Chase Anderson and Archie Bradley. They are two more free agent signings that we had this year. And then additionally, we re-signed Didi Gregorius, which I love, as well as the man in JT Realmuto. So two amazing re-signs. Super happy that we did that. I'm sure most Philadelphia Phillies fans are also additionally pleased in those re-signings. So now we also have some MILB signings that are pretty cool to look at. Some people to watch. These are people we picked up on minor league contracts that I can see potentially bringing the Philadelphia Phillies a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, throughout some injuries and whatever may end up happening with our team. I think these guys may end up playing a part, so let's keep an eye on Ivan Nova. Ivan Nova, Yankees, was pretty decent with the Yankees back in the day. Obviously, his arm has slowed down quite a bit, but he does still have some fair control, so he's an eye to look on, as well as Brian Mitchell, another pitcher from the Yankee system. So those are two pitchers to keep an eye on. We also brought back into our minor league system Mike Adams. He did some good things for the Phillies back in the day. We'll see if he's able to pan out and beat through the injuries that we all know he plagued his career. Ronald Torres, I also think he was in the Yankee system. A lot of Yankee MILB signings. But Ronald Torres is an outfielder, decent ball player, somebody else to keep an eye on. I think he can play some infield too, if I'm not mistaken. Christian Bethancourt, a catcher that used to be in the Braves system. I know we picked him up on a minor league contract, somebody else to keep an eye on, even though we're pretty deep in catchers. And we're going to get into our depth chart just next. But somebody to keep an eye on, and Neftali Feliz, who back in the day was expected to be a huge prospect, huge pitcher, but didn't end up panning out as well as he did, but we all know that he has the potential. So that is somebody else to keep an eye on. So it was a very active offseason for us. Most of the major acquisitions that we have are re-signings, with the addition of Archie Bradley and probably Chase. I think those are going to be your two major signings outside of our re-signings. But the re-signings were essential. We really didn't have too much as far as depth goes in our catching system. We have depth, but we don't have real quality depth. And I think that was key in the re-signing and what we actually ended up paying for JT Realmuto, which that's a lot of money. But I don't have to pay it. Let's talk about our Philadelphia Phillies and who we can see stepping foot onto the field for our first few games. Let's first talk about our starting rotation. We have a great starting rotation this year, one of the best, I think, in the NL East, if not baseball. We have 3, if not 4, top quality players, one of which hopefully develops into the quality player that I think he's going to be. So first, let's talk, obviously, the ace, Aaron Nola. Aaron pulled in a 3.28 ERA last year, which is pretty typical for Aaron, usually right around that lower 3 to upper high-end 2s. An amazing pitcher, great control, amazing quality, bullpen, clubhouse persona. He's a leader in I keep wanting to say bullpen. He's a leader in the clubhouse. He really does take charge, and a lot of players are looking up to him, and he really, truly has developed into an amazing Philadelphia Philly and hopefully a lifer Philly, as far as I'm concerned. His record last year was 5-5, and he had 96 strikeouts in that shortened COVID year. So obviously we know what we're getting with Aaron Nola, fantastic pitcher, and I really do look forward to seeing him progress this year. Coming right in behind him, we have Zach Wheeler, an amazing pitcher we picked up from the New York system. He is 4-2 last year with a 2.92 ERA, which is even better than, obviously, Aaron. His win record loss is 4-2, so obviously he had more wins than losses, which is a step up from what Aaron had. And he had 53 strikeouts, which is a decent strikeout number. So Zach Wheeler, an excellent number 2 for our Philadelphia Phillies. And then we come down to Zach Eflin. Zach has really progressed into an amazing pitcher. He was never really anticipated to be at the level that he's at, but as he has progressed, he really has stood out and really firmed himself in that number 3 position, and I think he's going to hold that pretty well. So Zach, he had a 4-2 record, tied right up there with, the other Zach Wheeler. He had 70 strikeouts, a bit more than Zach Wheeler, and he has a 3.97 ERA, which is lower, of course, than Zach Wheeler, but all around, great pitcher, decent control, nice fastball, good slider, decent pitcher. Very happy to see him in number 3. Now, number 4 is Spencer Howard. Now, I can see Spencer Howard really progressing on this list over the next 2 years. I can see him coming in at a close second underneath Aaron Nola. This kid has amazing potential, stellar arm, quality control, and he is just somebody that you really do need to start paying attention to. But Spencer Howard is a phenomenal ball player, and we all need to really key in on his rookie year, which is in fact this year. And as a quick little mention to baseball cards, Spencer is featured in Topps Series 1 2021, which has already been released, and his rookie card is in the first series. So make sure you go on out, grab yourself a box, a team set, a pack, and get yourself your very first Spencer Howard rookie card of the 2021 season. Spencer Howard had a 5.92 ERA, which is quite high, but it was his first taste in the major leagues. I have a feeling once he settles down, calms down, and gets a firm grasp on everything around him, I truly feel that he is going to develop into a stellar opening arm. Spencer had 23 strikeouts and a 1-2 record, so not too shabby, and I do see him being a fairly decent arm for our starting rotation on the Phillies. Moving on, we have Vince Velasquez. Vincey's been on the team for a pretty good deal of time now. He's come over from the Astros system, I want to say back in maybe 2012, 2013-ish. Or actually, no, I think it was 2014. But nonetheless, great ball player. 1-1 record, 46 strikeouts, and a 5.56 ERA. Obviously, we know Vince has potential to do a lot more than that. He has been plagued with injuries and struggled over the past few years. I hope that 2021 is a nice breakout comeback year for Vince. So let's keep our fingers crossed for Vince to come in at number 5. Now, we also have 2 additional starting pitchers. These 2 starting pitchers are new signings to the Philadelphia Phillies. So They are fighting for a bullpen or a starting role. We aren't quite sure where they fit in yet, but that would obviously be Matt Moore and Chase Anderson. Matt Moore coming back from the Japanese league, I believe he was in, or Korean league, one of the two. I apologize, I'm not completely sure. But Matt came from the Tampa Bay Rays system back in the original days. Back in 2012 was his rookie season. And he was a great pitcher, really had some good potential, did fairly well his first 2 years, and then kind of just died off. Found a better financial position available for him across seas, and he took it. Matt ended up with 9 strikeouts and no wins, no losses, no ERA. He only had the opportunity to pitch a couple times back in 2019 before he did go over to Asia for the 2020 season. We're happy to welcome him back to the Phillies. We'll see what he has come spring training as he develops, and we'll get more to you on the Matt Moore situation. Same thing with Chase Anderson. He had a 1-2 record last year, 38 strikeouts, but a really high ERA of 7.22. But it's important to understand that 7.22 came from one really bad outing. So let's make sure we give him fair due, and hopefully we can see Chase progress into a decent arm. You know, should somebody go down in our top 5 rotation, or if we end up having a 6-man rotation, who knows? Joe Girardi has been known to do some odd things, and we'll see what ends up happening. Let's talk about our bullpen and our saving grace for the pitchers here in Philadelphia Phillies. First, we've got our new signing in Archie Bradley. He had an amazing ERA of 2.95, 2 wins, no losses, 18 strikeouts in that COVID-shorted year. He is a right-handed pitcher coming out of the bullpen, phenomenal arm. Really looking forward to seeing Archie in a red Phillies hat. Great pickup, great signing, excellent job, Phillies top office. Next, we go into our closer, or who was our closer moving back, I should say, and that would be Hector Neris with a 4.57 ERA, 2 wins, 2 losses, and 27 strikeouts. So Hector Neris is back with our Phillies. Also, we have David Hale, who played half the year with the Phillies last year, coming over from the Yanks, and he's got a 3.71 ERA from last year with 14 strikeouts, no wins, no losses. David, you know what you're going to get out of the bullpen, a nice firm arm, nothing too flashy, but able to get those outs, especially, you know, being a right-handed pitcher. Jojo Romero. Jojo is an amazing ball player. He's going to be a really good arm coming out of the bullpen. Obviously, he's very young. He is coming and developing through the Philadelphia Phillies system. He had no wins, no losses, an extremely high 1 outing, 7.59 ERA, but obviously with some more outings and a little more work, Jojo really does have some potential. So that's another great arm, in-house, right from our system, you know, developed within. Truly something to look for. Jose Alvarado is another pitcher that we just picked up. As we had discussed before from the Tampa Bay system, he's got 6.0 in ERA, so nothing too fantastic. 13 strikeouts, no wins, no losses. Overall, average. I mean, possibly can get some outs, but, you know, he is a lefty. We did need some more lefties, so I have a feeling that played a big part. Because, I mean, in our bullpen, I believe we only have, 3 lefties? Ranger Suarez, Jojo Romero, and, yeah. I think that's it, actually, now that I think about it. We're very short on left-handed pitchers, so that's something that's really going to plague the Phillies this year going around. And I think that Joe really does need to focus on allowing these pitchers to have longer roles. And that is something that obviously the 2021 season is going to implement, where you can't just have those short pitchers. You know, they can't just face one batter, which is a good thing. It's going to help progress the game, I think, in my opinion, and it will help pitchers get some more outings, get some more arms, and have a better chance to have a career rather than just be shut down. So then we have, as I just mentioned, Ranger Suarez. He's got a extremely high ERA of 20.25. Obviously, one horrible outing, destroyed Ranger. 0-1, 1 strikeout. Ranger did amazing in the minor leagues. I think a lot of that had to do with the jitters in his first major league appearance. And I think progressing down the line, once he has the ability to get, well, I can't say get in front of a crowd, but get into an actual major league game and get that feel, I think he's going to develop pretty well. May not be top of the line, but I do think that Ranger has some potential moving forward. Another acquisition that we just got was Sam Coonrod from the San Francisco Giants. Sam is 0-2 with 15 strikeouts and a 9.82 ERA. Sam is an overall average pitcher. Did really good for the Giants, though. Giants really did rely on him a lot for the late innings. I could see him being a 7-8 inning eater, couple outs, but I don't see him going distance. He doesn't really have the ability to go past 6-7 batters. So decent arm to have in the bullpen. Nice righty. High numbers for the ERA, but I think that's something that can be developed with a better field behind him because the Giants really didn't have that this year. And last but not least, we have Connor Brogdon. Now, Connor also came from, obviously, the Philadelphia Phillies system. He is a 1-0 with 17 strikeouts and a 3.97 ERA. So that's going to round it out for the Philadelphia Phillies pitching staff, at least for the active roster as we see fit for the coming 2021 season. Now let's talk about the numbers. The people that are going to make the runs show up on the board, and that would be our field playing positions. So first, let's talk catcher. Obviously, we know who we just re-signed and the greatest catcher in all of Major League Baseball. Some say arguably, I say it's not even close to being an argument. And that would, of course, be JT Realmuto. JT had a .266 batting average, which is fairly good for a catcher, obviously. And with 11 home runs and 32 RBIs, JT is phenomenal. Top of the line, that's why he did garner the money that he did. One of the, if not the highest paid catcher of all time. He is going to be with the Phillies for 5 more years, and we are very excited to have JT. He is an amazing ball player, another great clubhouse presence, and I believe with Aaron, Reese, Bryce, Scott, it's going to be a great team. And I really do think they're going to mesh very well. A lot of these guys played together for a good deal of time now. They have the ability to work together. They've worked together through COVID. They've grown together close. And I think that really does help. A lot of these teams coming into the 2021 season, they haven't meshed. They haven't had the ability to work together yet. Whereas the Phillies, not only have they had the ability to work together, they're quality players that have had the ability to work together. So I really do think we have a lot to look forward to this 2021 season as Philadelphia Phillies fans, as long as they're able to have Joe Girardi play them properly, to give them the chances that they need, to not just quick yank. I know he has a tendency to do that, but we really do need to have the Philadelphia Phillies develop as a team and really work together this year. So that's JT, amazing ball player, but he does have some good backups in Andrew Knapp, guy that came through the whole Phillies system. He's got 2 home runs last year, 15 RBIs, and a .278 batting average. So Andrew is another decent catcher. Nice backup when JT needs a break. Hopefully JT doesn't have any injuries. We do know that he is facing an injury and maybe out the first month of the season. So that is why it's important to have these backup catchers in Andrew Knapp, Rafael Marchand, and Devi Grulon. Rafael Marchand, 500 average, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, came through the Phillies system. Really decent potential. I think he's got to step up on Devi, and I think that we are really going to see a little bit more of him this year, especially with the JT injury, and hopefully it doesn't get re-triggered or re-broken or re-injured. However, we are ready, God forbid something like that should occur. So we have Andrew and Rafael in the reins to run behind JT Realmuto, who is in fact the best catcher in all of Major League Baseball. So as far as catching goes, Philly's got it. Let's move on to first base. That would be Rhys Hoskins. Phenomenal ball player. Didn't have as great a year last year, but we know the potential's there. We know the power is there. We know the skill is there. We also know the fielding is there. You know, he's got a .245 average last year with 10 home runs and 26 RBIs, which still isn't too shabby for a COVID-plagued year. So Rhys, another great ball player, all-star, just all-around decent guy. And then we have second base, another, in my opinion, my personal favorite on the Philadelphia Phillies. Maybe it has to do with number 4. Maybe it has to do with the fact that he's short like me. But Scotty Kingery, Jetpack Scott. So Scotty's had only a 159 last year, a little disappointing with 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. A really good right-hander, though. This kid's got potential. And by potential, I mean extreme potential. He's never going to be a huge home run hitter. He's never going to be a .350 hitter. But what you have is a quality, skilled second baseman who could play the position with pizzazz and do a very good job in doing so. Works very well flipping double plays and, covering for double plays, covering for stolen bases, just an all-around really quality second baseman. And I think working with a better hitting coach, he really can develop into a nice, strong second baseman. Hopefully a lifer for the Phillies for as much memorabilia as I've purchased on him. All right, so now we have our shortstop in Gene Segura. Perennial All-Star, always on the All-Stars. Great ball player, great guy. Also another short guy. 266 average, right-handed, 7 home runs, and 25 RBIs last year. Always puts out a great year, always gives it his all. Really quick around the bases, and a really decent shortstop. And like I said before, he really does work well with Kingery. So I think that's going to be a really nice thing to see in a lot of real quick flips. Additionally, we're going to move on to third base in another re-signing and another All-Star, and that would be Didi Gregorius. Didi, I love his name. It's hilarious. Didi. But Didi Gregorius is a great third baseman, really good arm, can fire it right on over to Reese, as well as batting. Obviously, we know a fairly decent batter at a 284 average with 10 home runs. Little guy's got power. He's skinny as all means, but boy, does he have power with 10 home runs, 40 RBIs. Quality ball player. I was really happy to see him re-sign because I didn't think we had the ability to get anyone better than him. So to have him come back is a really good thing. And I think that being that he was already on the team for, last year and whatnot, he really does have the Phillies' ideals grasped. And we really can mesh together as a team. You've got to realize the entire infield was here last year. The entire outfield, as we're going to get to, was here last year. So they've already played together. We didn't lose really much other than Jay Bruce in the outfield. So we really do have substantial potential, and I think it's going to really help us move forward. So let's talk about who we have off of the bench for the infield, and that would be a great ball player coming up through the Phillies system. I can see him being another Bryce, to be honest with you, and that's Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm is phenomenal. Really tall, really filling out firm, just an overall quality ball player. You've got 4 home runs, 23 RBIs. I think he had a 338 average last year for his quote-unquote rookie season. I believe they're going to give this his rookie year as well. Alec is a great ball player. We really did get lucky with Alec. And I am looking forward to seeing him progress through the Philadelphia Phillies system, and I hope the Phillies hang on to him for a good deal moving forward. But we're going to see a lot out of Alec this year. Should anybody go down, he does have the ability to pretty much play all around the infield as well as the outfield. So the kid's got the ability to play just about anywhere. And I really think that with his size and his power, he is going to develop into one of the better major league outfielders and infielders here in the major leagues as well as the Phillies. And then, as I said before, we got back Brad Miller, 7 home runs, 25 RBIs, only a 232 average, but you know what you're getting in Brad Miller, a quality utility ball player, mostly to play the field, really good on the field. Batting is obviously not all there. He's got some power, but he just doesn't have the temperament at the plate in order to get him to the next level there. But as far as field work goes, really good. And being on that he's been on several teams, he does have the ability to work around the clubhouse as well. Then we go to the outfield. Let's talk about outfield. Andrew McCutchen, our left fielder, an amazing guy, came from the Pittsburgh system. Since he's been with the Phillies, he has been one of our big civil rights leaders here. He's working well within the community, but I truly feel that he excels most on the field. He really does cover that outfield very well. He's got great range. He works very well with, whoever we have in center, whether it be Bryce, Roman, whoever. He's a really quick on his feet ball player. He's getting a little older, so obviously we're going to see the numbers probably start to decline a little bit, but I truly think he's got another 3 or 4 more quality years in him. He did come up in the 2011 season, so I think we have a lot to look forward to in our outfield, especially, Andrew McCutchen. In center field, to start in center field, I believe we're going to have Roman Quinn. I'm getting a little bit of argument back and forth between Roman Quinn and Adam Hazley, but I do think that Roman is going to take the lead only because of his speed and his ability to really cover ground in the outfield. Now, is he as good a batter as Adam? No. But I truly feel that the rest of the team is going to carry us on the bats. And I think that it's going to be a pretty fair split between Roman and Adam, but I think on opening day, Roman should have his position in center field with 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and a .213 batting average, and he does bat lefty. So it's important to get another lefty on the bat as well. Additionally, as I just mentioned, we have Adam Hazley, who is going to be pretty much filling all 3 outfield positions, as needed. He had a great .278 batting average, no home runs, which I find surprising. He does have some power behind him, but he has 13 RBIs. So, that's what we're working with. And then obviously we have our right fielder, the main man, Bryce Harper. Bryce, .268 average. Obviously, we know he's got potential to get way higher than that. 13 home runs, which is pretty decent for last year, and 33 RBIs. Bryce didn't have as quality a year as he always has, but steady. Never was he terrible. He has the potential to really move this team forward. He is obviously the leader in the clubhouse, stepping right behind Aaron Nola. Now, Aaron's been on the team longer, but Bryce just has that aura, that skill, to where wherever clubhouse he steps into, he takes charge. He's a phenomenal ball player, and he truly will lead this team, in my opinion, to a second-place victory. What we're predicting here at the Phillies Phanaddicts, as much as we'd like to see them win first place, I see them coming in second place with a wild card berth, and I see them actually playing in the playoffs this year. So that is something awesome and something to really, truly look forward to. We didn't just base that on the fact that we love our Phillies. We based that on the fact of taking into account all 15 Major League Baseball teams here in the National League and trying to develop and put together a 200-point system. And that is where we found that the Philadelphia Phillies would, in fact, come in second. So make sure you pay attention and watch, because this is going to be one hell of a year for Major League Baseball. Unfortunately, we cannot attend the games as we'd like to. We can't get nice up close and personal. We can't have the popcorn, the hot dogs, the Philly cheesesteak. No Tony Luke's this year. But we can still support our team, and we can still support the greatest sport in all of the United States of America. And that is our American pastime of baseball. I truly think that the Phillies put together a phenomenal team for us this year. They went ahead and spent the money that was necessary to keep the fans and the team in the position and place where we need to be. This is a great team. We have some great potential, and I truly look forward to the first spring training game in a few days, and I hope you do as well. My name is Corey, and this is the Philadelphia Phillies Phanaddicts Podcast. We are just getting started, so please share this with all your Phillies fans. Please put this on any Phillies pages that you may know, and help you learn more about the Philadelphia Phillies and what we have to look forward to for this 2021 season. Throughout the season, we're going to be doing a weekly analysis of the games that happened in the previous week. We're going to have injury reports as well as free agent signing reports. Anything Philadelphia Phillies related that we think is important or that you may like to know or may not already know, we will share with you this year. So please make sure you stay tuned, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And welcome to a great season and the 2021 season of the Philadelphia Phillies and the Philadelphia Phanaddicts Podcast. Thanks for watching. See you next episode.